On May 9, 2022, the future of the Philippines will once again be decided by the Filipino people. The Philippine state has been in dire situation for many decades. Corruption proliferates and our democracy is immensely dissipated. At the same time, voting and election became tainted with the ill intents of power-hungry elites and tyrants. Killings, coercion, and vote buying are rampant, which is already part of our electoral culture. As an integral component of a democratic state, we are liable for our current situation. To reverse the decaying Philippine society, we need to start creating change. Therefore, the election process is detrimental for the state and the people. Thus, we need to use our single vote wisely. We must choose a servant leader who would oppose the government's uncanny practices and bring honesty, integrity, and holistic actions for our country's betterment. We must choose a leader who has the academic capabilities to fulfill the duties of the president rightfully. We also need a leader who has an astounding track record of aiding the country's journey to betterment. The most critical capability of a leader is their virtuous character with stable moral integrity. Hence, the country needs Leni to be its 17th president, as she is an exemplar of academic excellence. Her track record embodies her immense qualification, and she possesses an impeccable moral integrity. The president is the head of the state and the government, whose power is under the executive department to execute and administer laws. The duty of the president is a heavy task that requires abundant and suitable knowledge in the field. Although there is no academic requirement in the 1987 Constitution, it is still essential. The president should be armed with an intellectual capacity to accomplish the assigned tasks and responsibilities of the position properly. Fortunately, Leni possesses a concrete and holistic academic background suitable for the position. She is an economics degree holder who graduated from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Later on, she gained experience by becoming an economics professor and an economist and researcher at a development hub. She also followed her father's footsteps by obtaining a law degree and successfully passed the bar exam. She utilized her legal profession to help the enlightened people of the country. As an economist and lawyer, her academic prowess will benefit the Philippine state and government's overall well-being. As an integral component of the state and government, economics needs to be handled and managed proficiently. As economics is an interdependent aspect that affects different facets of the state, Leni, who has an economics background, is much more suited. A legal credential is not essential, but is favorable to the government. As the government is a complex field composed of laws and policies, a person equipped with logical and rational thinking can help alleviate its complexity. Those who do not understand can never do anything. In this case, we need to choose a president who comprehends to adequately assist the country. The president is also the chief of overall governmental bodies. Thus, a person who can handle public service is needed. Leni is a certified public servant long before she became a politician. As a lawyer, she worked under the Public Attorney's Office for 2 years, then continued her service outside the bounds of government. She focused her legal career as an alternative lawyer for 13 years, fighting for the marginalized and giving free legal education to the poor and uneducated. Later on, she ventured politics by becoming a congresswoman. Within 3 years in her legislative work, she authored and co-authored numerous laws that ultimately respond to good governance and public welfare. Then, she secured the position of Vice President. In her 6 years in the executive department, She implemented the successful Anak Buhay project despite her office's scant funds. The said project has 6 social-oriented programs that focus on alleviating the marginalized sector. In the heights of the pandemic, the OVP spearheaded proactive actions to help the crisis despite not receiving funds. Her dedication to public service makes her the light of hope for many Filipinos. As mentioned, the President's primary responsibility is to spearhead the governmental bodies that focus on public assistance. With her experiences and grit to achieve excellent and honest public service in the country, her immense contribution, just as the Vice President, assisted thousands of impoverished Filipinos. What more if she became the President of the country? Another significant responsibility of the President is to become the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The military power of the President is really delicate and prone to abuse. This, giving it to the wrong hand of attention, might repeat the vicious history of the Marcos regime. That is why it needs a person with impeccable moral integrity like Leni. Out of all the candidates for presidency, only Leni possesses such high moral integrity that garnered much recognition and appraisal. The Commission on Audit awarded the highest audit rating to the OVP for 3 consecutive years. In addition, her public services always lean on serving the masses, assisting and alleviating them from impoverished states. With this, she has received multiple honorary doctorate awards from different universities. As the President has immense power, the person in the position leads a moral compass that prioritizes freedom, human rights, and honesty. The COA audit rating indicates that Leni's government is truly clean and drug-free. Her excellent awards prove that she is truly dedicated in serving the Filipino people. We do not need perfection. We need a person who can prioritize others more than their selfish desires. Ever since, our problem with the government seemingly did not change. Elitism, corruption, nepotism, bribery, killings, and more. We strive for change. However, our lack of critical thinking blinds us from reaching the right path. We have already seen the consequences, so we need to seek change holistically. We cannot waste a single vote, so we must use it critically. Leni Robredo is the most qualified of all the aspiring presidents. She has been a public servant for many decades, being an alternative lawyer, a congresswoman, and our current vice president. Not just that, her moral integrity has been proven and tested by the countless awards of recognition for her clean, transparent, and honest administration. Lastly, she is a dedicated and hardworking woman whose tenacity to serve the Filipinos is proven by her enacted laws, projects, and programs that change the lives of many. Current Vice President Leni Robredo epitomizes the needed attributes of a president. For years, her commitment to serve the masses and the country, equipped with proficiency and pure heart, has been felt and seen. The ticket to change is in our minds and hands. We should choose critically. We should choose Leni.